My mind is blown. Hi friends, welcome back, or just welcome if you're new. My name is Emily, and today we're going to chat about Unearthed by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. So this is the second video that I'm filming today because I'm moving in 2 weeks and kind of didn't want to film a video 3 days after I moved into my apartment. So here we are. Also, my bookshelves look a little bit different just by one singular book because I just went shopping today and I got Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So I'm excited to read that. This sticker comes off, but this one does not. So I'm a little bit upset about that, but you know what? It's not a big deal. I've heard really good things about this book. If you've read it, let me know. I'm excited to read it, but that is not the book that we're talking about today. I would like to start this off by saying, wow, this book was amazing and it was way more involved than I expected it to be, and I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. This was in my giveaway box when I was clearing out my bookshelves at the beginning of lockdown. I was about to take the box to donate or sell, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna grab Unearthed out of the box because I remember kind of liking it the first time I tried to read it, so let's just give it another shot. And wow, I'm so glad that I did that. But before I gush about everything that I really liked about this book, let's get into a summary. So strap in, let's go. Unearthed takes place on an alien planet called Gaia, and we follow Amelia, or Mia, who's a scavenger, who is on Gaia to get some alien tech that she can take home and sell to save her little sister. And we also follow Jules, who is an academic, and he is there to study the Undying, which was the race of aliens that lived on Gaia, and see what went wrong with them and why they became extinct, and why they warned Earth about the same fate. Mia and Jules are thrown into an unexpected partnership, and as they make their way across the planet and through an ancient alien temple, they realize that the Undying and Gaia are not quite what they seem to be. Okay, so my first impression of Unearthed is that it's just two horny teenagers walking around on an alien planet. The first maybe 100 pages, a lot of Mia and Jules' inner dialogue is about how hot they think the other one is. One of the funniest examples of that I found was when Mia and Jules stop to make camp for the night, and Mia's kind of like poking fun at Jules for being excited about exploring the temple and exploring the planet and all that. She says, "That and you get all hot and bothered about walking where no human foot has trod before," she teases. And then Jules thinks, "You get me hot and bothered, Mia." Like, who? I just thought that was so funny. They're so far away from home, away from everyone they knew. They don't know if they'll make it out alive. They don't know what's going to happen in the temple. But literally all they can think about is how hot the other one is. Maybe it was playing into like the insta love trope, which I know a lot of people hate. But I just thought it was funny. I got a kick out of it. I think it was hilarious that they were so obsessed with each other at the beginning. I found it really interesting how Jules and Mia actually address the fact that they're teenagers throughout the whole book, and they make choices based on that, and based on their maturity levels, and based on their life experiences. And they make realistic choices. Don't get me wrong, I love Kaz Brekker, but you have to have a really strong sense of suspension of disbelief to believe that this 17-year-old is just going around murdering people and pulling out eyes and throwing people overboard on ships and things like that. It takes a lot of suspension of disbelief, but Jules and Mia have reasonable reactions to the things that they're faced with in this book. I'll talk about this more in the spoiler section because there's a lot to unpack here, but one of the examples near the beginning of the book is when Jules and Mia run into the two scavengers who are from another like rival group. Instead of shooting these people so that they can just get them out of the way and they don't have to worry about them, they tell them to take off their shoes and pants so that they'll be less likely to follow them. And then Jules and Mia run off and they're not murderers. I just think that aversion to violence, especially as a young person, that's a real thing, and that's important that people understand that that's a real thing. Although obviously it's fiction, so anything can happen. It was just interesting to see that realism in there, so props to Amy and Megan for doing a good job with that. But that also doesn't mean that Jules and Mia are complacent in their youth. They recognize that they're young, but they also know that that doesn't mean that they can't make their own decisions or do things for themselves. Something that I found that I thought was interesting on that subject is Mia is talking to Jules. Again, they're camped for the night, and she says, "I'm more or less the same age as you, and I think we can make our own decisions just fine." So it was cool to kind of see that duality between their uncertainty and their confidence in themselves. And I think that's important for teenagers. I mean, technically I'm still a teenager, but like younger teenagers to see, is that you can be unsure of yourself and you can be scared and tentative and hesitant, but you can also be confident and believe in yourself. Okay, so the ending, holy moly, my mind is blown. I don't really know what to think. But before I become a rambling mess, let's try and focus this up a little bit. First of all, I want to talk about what I was saying earlier about Mia and Jules' aversion to violence. There are two instances that really stood out to me. So one is near the end when they're captured by Charlotte or Mink or whoever she actually is, which will be interesting to find out. And Mia, Hansen, and Javier are formulating a way to get out of the prison that Charlotte, Mink, whoever is keeping them in. And that plan involves Mia having to shoot a guard. And she ends up agreeing to the plan, but she doesn't want to do it. And she ends up not having to do it, but just the fact that she had so much hesitation and she was so scared about it really speaks again to that realism. The last point I have is when Mia and Jules are still in the temple and they end up crushing Alex under that rock fall and leaving Liz and her crew behind. They know that they killed him, and they don't just go on and say, "Oh, you know, now he's out of our way, we don't have to worry about him anymore." They feel guilty and upset and uncomfortable, and I think that's really interesting and that's really important. It maintains the integrity of those characters. It maintains the core of who they are. And they are the kind of people who would react that way to such a dire situation. Second, I really appreciated the mini arc, I guess, between Jules and Mia about honesty and being open with each other. At the beginning of the book, they didn't tell each other anything. They were keeping secrets. There was all of this stuff just bottled up inside. But by the end, they're able to trust each other. They would do anything for each other. And why? It's because of honesty. And that's such a great thing to portray in a YA book, because their entire relationship is built on honesty, which is a very healthy quality to have in a relationship. And a lot of YA romances can be toxic and can portray toxic traits, but the honesty thing is big, and I think that's still going to play a really big role in their relationship, and I appreciate seeing that in here. And finally, the ending, like I said before, my mind is blown. I felt like I was getting whiplash because there were so many things that were happening, just one after the other, but that was actually really awesome. They found the human languages in the temple and the footprints in the dust on the ship, and then humans coming out of the portal at the end. Like, wow, it was just twist after twist after twist, and it was so cool. Also, when Jules and Mia found the human languages in the temple, I thought, are the Undying actually human? Is this gonna be some interstellar kind of thing? And you know what? I was right, and I felt really proud of myself for being able to figure that out. Overall, I'm gonna give Unearthed 4 stars. Super awesome, really enjoyed reading it. It would be 5, but it was pretty slow at the beginning. But other than that, this was amazing. I'm so glad that I picked it out of my giveaway box. Alrighty friends, favorite quote time. So this one comes from Jules's father, actually. Jules is having a little bit of a flashback, thinking about the time that his father and he went on an archaeological expedition to Valencia. His father said to him, "Humans exceed themselves when they open their minds to discovery, when we immerse ourselves in the wonders of curiosity rather than moving straight toward the goal we've chosen. When we allow ourselves to explore, we discover destinations that were never on our map." I just think this quote beautifully describes how important it is to be curious and open-minded and willing to try new things. That theme is totally explored within this book, and it's also a theme that's transferable to real life. Go out and have adventures. You never know what could happen. And that's all I have on Unearthed. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you so choose, and I will see you next time. Happy reading!